removed this, he drops me off on a hill, like a mountain type place, where the grass was very green. And up on these grass type of place, there was all of these nations that was cut up into like pieces of paper. It was cut up in like a piece of paper like this. It was all cut up with different flags up on it. It was all cut up. It was all over the ground. And different nations was all up over it. But the one nation that I kept seeing over and over and over was the nation of Brazil. Somebody write down that Brazil. I seen Brazil. It's kept being highlighted in this vision. And at the moment when I looked at Brazil in the vision, there was a moment of silence. Everything was silence. And there was people that began to walk around like it was a moment of a memorial. Like it was a moment of like when soldiers died. Like people was paying their respects. Glory be to God. It was almost like one of those places in the United States we have where the soldiers go and they get laid down at. And you go visit because they have served. Glory be to God. It was like a moment of silence. And it was so grieving. It was so sorrowful in this vision that I pulled myself out of this thing, Dr. Octavia. I pulled myself out of this thing. And I began to walk. And I'm still in it as I'm walking I got out of my bed. And I'm still in it. It was like a moment, a woman of God said, like mourning. Yes, ma'am, like mourning. It was a moment like of silence. Glory be to God. You know when you're in school, they say, take a moment of silence. And I pulled myself out of this thing, Bishop. And I began to walk to my bathroom, but
Rescuers in Brazil racing against time in a desperate search for survivors after flash floods and mudslides turned the city of Petrópolis into a disaster zone.
Nunca vi uma coisa assim, horrível desse jeito. Meus amigos foi tudo embora, morreram tudo, meus amigos.
The death toll rising to at least 110 today. The Rio de Janeiro state government confirming to the Associated Press. Local police also telling the outlet 134 people remain missing.
Acho que não é hora da gente falar em número aqui ainda.
I think that it is not time yet to discuss numbers. Our work now is to try to find survivors in this horror scene.
The unanswered questions and fears of more dead spurring firefighters and growing numbers of volunteers to dig through the remains of homes. Authorities say more than 700 are left homeless.
A casa era aqui, cara. Era aqui. A barreira veio daqui, pegando de lado. E vem empurrando a casa toda. Desceu tudo. Então, aqui embaixo tem outros corpos. Quando a minha esposa tá aqui, eu me sinto aqui.
Jaw-dropping footage today showing houses buried in the mud and cars piled on streets after forceful floods and mudslides tore through the historic town. Nestled in the mountains above Rio de Janeiro, deemed the imperial city, now destroyed. The flooding ripping through landmarks as one day of rainfall exceeded the average for the entire month. Residents looking for help as they search through the wreckage.
Nós temos mais de 11 pessoas aqui. Nós já começamos a achar pessoas,